Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to your essay writing and presentation skills class. I hope that you have enjoyed learning about essay writing skills. As you can very well see on the slide, from today we are going to learn about the presentation skills that you can use while delivering any kind of information, or while you are in the process of delivering any information in front of the audience. Now, to begin with, let's see that what exactly we will learn in our presentation skills. Remember, in the last lecture, I told you to read from the first lecture in which we discussed about the language and communication skills, so that you have or you can recall that what are your speaking skills, what are your writing skills. As we have discussed that both of them, they are your receptive skills. Both of them, they are your productive skills, and however, on the other hand, your listening and your reading, they are your receptive skills, where you receive information. Now that as I am talking and you are listening to me, it means that I am the one who is sending the information to you, and you are receiving the information to be interpreted in the different ways. So that information whatsoever is coming to you, you are receiving that, and you may reproduce that information once you opt for delivering one presentation in front of the audience. So the lecture number 22, in our lecture number 22, we are going to thoroughly talk about the presentation skills in detail, that how to make or deliver the presentation. In the last lecture, we got done with the last type of in the last lecture, we thoroughly discussed that how to attempt one essay exam. So moving on to the next slide, let's see that what exactly we will learn from the presentation skills. Basically, in the presentation skills, we are going to see that how to make and deliver a presentation. So while we are going to discuss the process of the presentation skills, we will thoroughly discuss that how to make one and how to deliver one good presentation in front of your audience. Now to begin with, first of all, as you can very well see on the slide, written that great speakers are not born, they are trained. Now, you were not born to be a speaker, or you were not born to be a presenter. These processes and these things are learned with the passage of time through training. Now that you are learning that how to develop these presentation skills, you will learn that how to become a very good presenter. Now that you have become one good writer, I hope that you are going to, if you stick to all the presentation techniques and presentation rules that I discuss with you, you can become one good presenter. Now today's today's lecture is going to focus on the presentation skill. Now as you can see that presentation is a skill. We have discussed in our second lecture that a skill is an ability of doing something, now which is learned. That's a learned ability of doing something. You learn through your experience, you learn through some training of doing something which is developed through experience and training. So you are either being trained or you learn it through your experience. So usually in universities and in the colleges, teacher usually use these communication techniques, these presentation techniques with the students by dividing your presentation chunks into different cycles, like presentation cycle number 1, where students were not that confident when they came to their final project presentation. So they drag them, or they bring them to such situations of presentations where students can are being so much exposed to the audience that they get that confidence of standing in front of the audience and then presenting themselves well in front of the audience. Now to move on, today's agenda is to define and to introduce the presentation skills, that what exactly they are and how do you define presentation. As I have already told you that presentation is a skill, that is not something that you already learned learned. Now if you differentiate presentation with that of painting, painting is something that you know, painting is something that you know, that can be an innate quality or that can be an inborn quality, but nobody is born presenter. No child you would have ever seen sitting in 2nd or 3rd grade who can give a very good presentation like a very good speaker. So you are trained to now these young kids in their previous or preschool stages, in their school stages, they are exposed to go on the stage. Maybe they can recite some verses from Holy Quran, maybe they are being asked to sing a poem, maybe they are being asked to deliver the message of the day. Then they as a chorus they sing the national anthem, sometimes they sing songs, sometimes they perform tableaus, and so on and so forth. So from very childhood you are being exposed to that stage which is there where you have to go for the presentations when it comes to studies, and then when it comes to your practical life. Now in your studies, every time your teacher asks you to come on the stage and recall or recap what you have done yesterday, or maybe whatsoever you have taught today, you can ask any of your students to come on the stage. So students have this fear of that, oh no, teacher is going to call me on the stage now. So this fear almost kills the students. So this is what, and this is how you are going to introduce, we are going to introduce about the presentation skills, that how fearful they can be and what exactly you are supposed to do to overcome these fears. Then we are going to discuss that how can you plan your presentation. Then we are going to also discuss on planning the presentation sequence. And then we are going to discuss the effective presentation techniques, then using the creative effective visual aids in your presentations, and then presentation as a 3-stage process while we are in a process of discussing today's lecture. So this is what we are going to do today. Basically all the elements written here will be elaborated in the further upcoming lectures, along with the examples with the life like scenarios where you would see different people suffering with this stage fear thing, and then so on and so forth. So to begin with, let's begin with the definition of presentation. Presentation, something set forth to an audience for the attention of mind. Now why do you have to present on a particular topic? Because you want to grab the attention of the audience on a particular subject that you are presenting. Effective, that should be effective, producing a desired result. So presentation should be effective one, because you are to appeal to the emotion or you are to grab the attention of the audience, and to achieve your desired results mean, because for giving every presentation on the slides or maybe you can make use of any other marketing material that you can use, or to convey your ideas to your audience in such a way that is going to get your desired results, that you are going to achieve your aim and you are going to achieve your focus while you plan for delivering one presentation. So in today's lecture, we are going to thoroughly discuss that how to create one presentation and how to deliver one presentation, and then we will discuss each and every chunk in detail in upcoming lectures, along with the examples, the lifelike experiences where people will fall down to the ground saying that I am not going to present on this stage. Now this is what we are going to see, and we are also going to see that how you can overcome these pressures gradually, because you are in a process of training as to how to deliver a presentation. Now, number one fear of your presentation is that some people they fear more than death. Now you fear more than death that why am I being standing here in front of this number of audience to present my topic, and you cannot speak. Sometimes the words they are you get mumbling, and the words they get lost in your mouth, and you do not know where to start from, and you do not know what to say and what not to say, and you start sometimes you start screaming and sometimes you have shaky hands, you have sometimes the blushing cheeks, you have nausea, sometimes you almost faint and you fall down to the ground. Sometimes you have knocking knees and sometimes you have a memory loss. But don't worry, try to feel normal, because presentation is not a very big deal. Come on, you can do that, and I am here to teach you how to deliver one smart presentation in front of your audience. So I hope that you can do it with your full devotion and with your full capability, because you know, if you can learn the process of essay writing and you can produce one good essay on your own, that can become your own creation. Of course, you can present that essay in the front of the audience also. So if I ask you to make your presentation on essay that you have written recently and to deliver it in front of the audience, I know you can do that, because I am here to support you, I am here to guide you, and you are going to listen to me carefully and see that how you can become one good presenter for the ages. Now, there are some causes of anxiety while you prepare yourself for the presentation, and while you see that how to give presentation. Sometimes there is a fear of unknown or the loss of control. Now, this unknown situation where you do not know, sometimes students in the class are being asked to deliver a presentation. Now, sometimes the topics are already being introduced or being assigned to them, and sometimes they are not being assigned those topics and they are supposed to work on them from the scratch. So this thing that puts them into a very difficult situation, because that fear of unknown, that what I will be asked to present on, maybe they are supposed to speak extempore, or maybe they are supposed to deliver or a presentation based on an outline. So stage fear is always there, and there is a loss of control for the presenter to see that which points he is supposed to focus on and which direction he is supposed to go in. So these kind of things are really very heartbreaking, and sometimes really they really create panic and tension and stress in the mind of presenter, because you feel noxious to present something in front of the audience. So this cause of anxiety, the first thing that we have discussed is the fear of unknown, that you don't know that what is going to come up, what are the audience going to be like, what are the people, what people are going to question you, and so on and so forth, or what topic you will be assigned. And loss of control, so you automatically lose your control, so that leads to the anxiety. That is one thing that lacks you, or that brings you towards the lack of preparation for the presentation. Now, there are two things written in the next slide. You can very well see. Now, the next thing that you can see is fight or flight mode. Now, if you concentrate on this fight mode, why do you have to fight? Fight means that you are fighting something to get to some end and to see. Now, there should be aggression, and there would be a lot of pressure on you, and you won't be comfortable and you won't be relaxed in front of the audience. Now, you are not going to fight your presentation. You are going to flight your presentation. Now, try to understand this flight mode of presentation. Now, this flight, as you can see, the flight from Islamabad to Karachi, let's take an example of that flight, because that departs from one destination to the other, and it arrives at one destination because it has got one set goal, because the flight from Islamabad was to reach Karachi, and it reached Karachi because that was the set destination. Now, that flight has got one basic format, or one basic structure, or one basic line that they are supposed to, the pilot is supposed to take that in. They first of all they move in upward direction like this, then they get that smooth flow, and then they come down. Now, this flight mode has something to do with picking up your idea or picking up the topic of your presentation up, then moving in the same flow, and then coming down and summarizing whatsoever you have said in your presentation. So this flight mode leading towards one accurate destination is going to help you reach toward one accurate and one perfect destination which you wanted to be there, or which you wanted to achieve by running from one place to the other. Now there is another cause of anxiety that comes in once you talk about the presentation skills, that you don't have any backup plan. Now if you see the situation in Pakistan, that sometimes we have energy crisis, sometimes we have these electricity issues. Now if you don't have, or the light turns off and for almost 1 or 2 hours, and you don't have any backup plan, and you were to present on the multimedia delivering your PowerPoint presentation, and you don't have any backup plan other than presenting it on the PowerPoint slide, then of course that can become one cause of anxiety, that what to do, and you will panic, and you will be under stress, and your time will be wasted, as well as others' time will be wasted also. Now another thing, that you are not enthusiastic about the subject. As you can see, we are on our point number 4, that you are not enthusiastic about the subject. Now maybe the subject has been assigned to you by your teacher, and maybe you are not very comfortable, or you are not very motivated, or you are not very enthusiastic about the subject. So that is another cause of anxiety, because you can deliver those things which you understand better, and if you don't understand them better, you cannot become a good presenter. So this subject thing, or selection of the topic for your presentation, is another thing that can lead to the anxiety of during presentation. Then your focus of attention, maybe you are preoccupied with something, and then you are being asked to present in front of the audience on so and so topic. So this focus of attention, once it is somewhere else, you would not be able to concentrate on your presentation, and that cannot be a good one, and that can also be one cause of anxiety while you actually think of presenting in front of the large number of audience whom you fear a lot. So now let's move on to the next slide and see that how what effective presentations are like, and how you are supposed to reduce your anxiety towards delivering your presentation. Control your anxiety first of all. Don't fight it. You are supposed to flight it. Now your presentation should be, or should go in the flight mode. There should be one aim to be achieved, there should be one destination to be achieved, where you want to take your audience attention to. Your topic should have one major thesis statement that should bring your audience to towards this concept, that they are going to deliver, or they are going to get your utmost message that you wanted to deliver your presentation on. Your presentation should be audience centered. In other words, it means that audience should be highly involved in it, and any effective presentation should involve the attention of the audience as much as it can. It accomplishes the objective, so it is going to accomplish the objective in the flight mode. It should be fun for the audience should enjoy it, rather than they should get bored, or they should get they start looking at their watches, that when this person is going to go and when the next person is going to come to deliver his or her topic. It should be fun for them, they should be highly involved in the presentation, and it, in the other hand, it also should be fun for you. You should enjoy presenting your topic, and you should be so much enthusiastic about your topic that you deliver it in a very good way, and it is conducted within the time frame. So keep in mind that whatsoever time limit you are given for presenting for delivering your presentation, you should stick to that, and you should move accordingly. Now moving on to the next slide, let's talk about the part number 2, the agenda number 2 of today's presentation and today's lecture, that is about the presentation skills. And now part number 2 talks about planning your presentation. Now that we know that what is a presentation, and we have known that what effective presentations look like, now let's move on to how can you plan your presentation. To begin with, planning your presentation. For planning your presentation, determine your purpose. Your purpose is very important because your whole idea and your whole presentation will revolve around the major purpose, the major destination, the major objective, or the aim to which you want to achieve. Now, assess your audience. Second thing that you are supposed to keep in mind to make your or to plan for your presentation is to success depends on your ability to reach your audience size, or the graphics, the knowledge level, and the motivation. Now these things are supposed to be kept in mind before you actually plan for your presentation and when you are planning for your presentation. Now access your audience. See that what would be the size of the audience involved in your presentation, what kind of graphics can be visible for them, and how you can convey your thought by using some graphics, what knowledge levels you can use, and what kind of the motivation, how you can motivate your audience towards your basic topic. Now moving on to the next slide, see that how do you plan the space that is related to the audience. Check out the number of seats which is available. Maybe if you are presenting in the discussion room, maybe you are presenting in the classroom, maybe you are presenting in the seminar hall. So try to see what is the number of seats available and how many audience will be there. So your seating arrangement, if you are planning any kind of information that is a kind of a business in a presentation or a informative presentation, you can make your audience sit in the semicircle and see that everyone can see you. Your audio visual equipment should be ready as to make sure that everyone from your audience can hear them properly and can listen to all the sounds properly, and they can look at the slide from every angle, from every sitting area where they are sitting, and then you are going to see that there are not going to be any distractions in, or there are not going to be any distractors during your presentation. So this is how you plan the space. Look for the seating arrangement. If that is in your hands, look for how many people would be there. Try to see that how each one of them can listen to the audio, and then they can see the visuals on the screen without making any blockage for one another. Now also check on, once you are planning your presentation, also check on that what day and time you should choose for your presentation. If that's in your hand, the day and time, tell your instructor. If you are giving a presentation or you are setting up a meeting to present your product or to launch your product in front of for other company, try to see that what time suits you. The any day of the weekday or any specific day which you think is your lucky day, try to set that. And also try to see the timing. Morning timing is the best time to present, because by the end of the day or by the half end of the day you feel so much exhausted, and sometimes you also feel sleepy. So in the morning you are fresh and you have that energy to deliver your presentation with full enthusiasm and with full motivation. So you are supposed to keep in mind the space and the time and day for your presentation. Now once you are planning your presentation, another thing that you are supposed to keep in mind is the organization. Now organization of the presentation should be kept in mind while you want to prepare an outline and while you want to deliver a nice presentation. First of all, determine the main points whatsoever would be there. Once that you have selected the topic for your presentation, try to make sure that you pick up those 2 to 5 major points which you are supposed to discuss in the presentation. As today I have shown you that how I begin with the agenda of the presentation skills lecture. You are supposed to tell in some slides that what would be the agenda, and that agenda would be the combination of whatsoever you are going to talk in your lecture. Your every item or your every point should be explained through the evidences. Now either you explain them in your own words, or you take example of or you take help of any picture, any visual to be displayed on the screen. This is up to you. So we will also discuss in the upcoming lectures that how you can organize your presentation in detail. Then preparing an outline. How can you prepare an outline for the presentation, because you are in a planning stage. So try to write down one outline on which your presentation will focus, and by following which you can make or you can plan out one good presentation. Now for making the presentation outlines, basically outline has got the keyword reminders which help you divide your presentation into the different parts and different sections. It has got the conversational flow, it is flexible, and it is more responsive to the audience. Now presentation outline helps you to make your ideas more flexible, to more conversive, and more responsive to the audience when it comes to the keyword reminders. Now another thing that you are supposed to see, that why should we give a presentation, why to deliver a presentation to a specific group of people. Now there are three major purposes of delivering the presentation. The first one is to inform, the second one is to persuade, and third one is to educate. Either you give or deliver the presentation for the information of the audience. If you have made any product, or if you want to bring the attention of the audience towards a specific subject, you deliver a persuasive presentation, or you try to persuade them, or sometimes you try to educate them. We will discuss these three different types differently by giving different examples, so that you can get to know that how to deliver one informative, one persuasive, and one educated presentations to your audience. Now in our part 3 we would thoroughly talk about the presentation sequence, that what is the sequence of the presentation that you are supposed to follow while making down one good presentation. The first thing that you are supposed to remember is to build rapport. Now building that rapport has something to do with your relationship with the audience. Now relation marked by harmony or empathy, audience members who trust you and feel that you care. Now this trust thing and this care thing should be developed before you actually start your presentation. Now we will as we will move on, we will see that how to actually prepare the slides of your presentation, and what material to add and what material not to add in your presentation. We will also see that once you are in a process of delivering your presentation, or once you are to present something in front of the audience, so what steps you are supposed to take to grab the attention of the audience. The first thing that you are supposed to do is to build a rapport. Before you begin, mingle and learn names and try to make your good first impression. Now before you actually begin, try to see that you start sending greetings to different people around, and try to talk to them, try to mingle with them, as to see that how you can make your impressions in front of them. Try to learn their names and try to talk to them, so that they can feel good about you, and tell them about that what you are going to talk in the presentation. In other words, try to introduce yourself to them and try to get their introduction also, because people listen to people they like. So this building of rapport before you actually start your presentation is one thing that you can use to make your presentations more effective and more appealing. Now moving on to the next slide, opening your presentation. Now that you have built a rapport, learned the names of the people, and you have built your first good impression in front of them, you introduce yourself, that why should they listen. Now opening your presentation is one chunk that is very important while you are delivering your presentation. Now how to open the forum or the platform for the listeners to, or for the audience to know that what you are going to talk about. So in your opening lines, clearly state that why should they listen to you, because you are going to talk about so and so things that has got this much importance in their lives. So while relating the importance or the significance of your topic to to the personal lives of the audiences, you can start or you can introduce a good presentation for them. Get attention, build more rapport, introduce topics. You can either make use of humor, short story, make audience think, or invite participation. So you can, once you plan to introduce your topic, you can introduce your topic by inserting in or by pouring in some humor, by adding or by telling them any short story that is related to the topic that you are supposed to talk on. Then make audience think. Maybe you can give them any question to ponder on, and maybe you can ask them for something that is really critical, or that really is the attention of thought for them. Or you can also invite participation from them by telling or by asking them, what do you know about this, and they would start commenting on that. This thing is going to relax a little bit the audience response. You will get the audience response. This is also going to be one thing that is going to help you grab the attention of the audience, as well as you will get some time to relax, because you are being kind of not very formal with the audience. They will get easily involved in what you have to talk about. They will get to know that what you are going to talk in your presentation, and they will also be involved in your presentation. And then you will also get some time to breathe while the audiences are engaged in finding out the answers for the questions that you have asked them. Maybe they are engaged in listening to the participation of the any other audience sitting in the whole room, and so on and so forth. Now moving on to the next point, that is completing the opening. Now how do you complete the opening? Clearly defining the topic. So while after you are done with the inviting the participation from the audience, while you are done with your short story, you will clearly tell them or you will clearly define the topic. If it is informative, give parameters, ground rules for the contents within time. If that is persuasive, then what's the problem and who cares and what's the solution. In other words, give an overview of how you are going to open up your presentation for the audience. Now moving on to the next point, now you are to present the main points, the solution for your problem that you are going to state, supporting evidence, examples, feedbacks and questions from the audience, attention to and focus on audience listening, and so on and so forth. So these kind of details can provide you with the solution that is there while you are actually, or you have already introduced your topic in front of the audience. So either you support your argument, or either you provide any solution or any supportive evidence or any examples for your audience. Try to see that how you are going to do that. Now you are to conclude your presentation now that you have presented it well through by providing the examples and evidences, and then asking them questions, and then involving their participation in the presentation. You are to conclude your presentation. Your main goal should be to inform audience that you are about to close. So before actually you bring a closure to your presentation, you should inform them that you are about to close your presentation and to say them goodbye, so that they can prepare their question answers to be asked in the question answer session. Summarize the main points. You are going to, in your closing points, you are going to give the summary. Now see the format. Remember that how am I used to, and how we actually recap the previous lecture, and then we introduce, and once we are towards the end of our lecture, I give you a good news every time that you are to end with, because this news is important for your audience, and that means to them, because after that you give them a summary, and that summary is something that they are really interested in knowing, because they want to know that what was the main focus that the speaker told them that he or she will be focusing on, and what was the summary that he or she has made while presenting his or her topic. Something to remember or call to action, and answer questions. So this is how you close your presentations, by recalling something that is called to your attention, or that brings your attention back to the main topic, and then in the end you try to answer and satisfy all the queries of all the audiences sitting in your presentation quorum. Now our part number 4 discusses the effective presentation techniques which can be useful for making one good presentation. Now remember that we are to solve and we are to see a lot of we are to discuss all of these things in detail in our upcoming lectures, and I will make sure that I can bring some good examples, and I can bring in some good videos to show you, so that you can get benefit from them also. Now the things that you are supposed to keep in mind is the first thing is your presentation style. There are 3 elements that you are supposed to remember. Now while discussing these things, we will make sure that we discuss verbal and non-verbal communication during presentation thoroughly, so that you are not going to confuse your verbal, non-verbal and paraverbal communication, or you are going to mislead your audience attention towards something. So there are 3 elements to be remembered in your presentation style. Your vocal techniques. The first thing is your loudness, second thing is your pitch, and third thing is your pause. Now see, your loudness, you should be heard by, or you should be listened by everyone. Your main goal should be that you should not be shouting. Your main goal is that you should be audible for the listener, and you should be audible for the every audience that is sitting in your room. Now this loudness has something to do with that you come out bold and loud. It has something that you are heardable by everyone. Then your pitch and your pause, now that has something to do with your paraverbal action, where you are supposed to put stress, which words need your special attention, where you are supposed to give pauses, how you are supposed to take the pitch of your voice. If it's flat, it will become boring. If you are speaking like a dull flat marble, it will your message will not be conveyed to your audience. So you are supposed to sound energetic, and you are supposed to use these paraverbal techniques while you actually use these vocal techniques for delivering one good presentation. So this is first thing that you are supposed to remember. Deviations from the standard for emphasis. So if you are going in one go and you think that your voice is becoming dull and boring for your audience, deviate from the standard or deviate from your ordinary tone for the emphasis, and try to concentrate on those things which can be of the interest to your audience. Now the 3 elements, the first one is body language, the second one eye contact, gestures and postures, and the third thing the use of space. Now these 3 things are really important once we talk about the presentation style. Now first thing is your body language. The way you are standing, the way you are moving your hands, the way you fold your arms, the way you cross your legs, the way you put your hands in your pockets, the way you point out towards someone or something, these things are really very important, because they can deliver right or wrong messages to the audience. So we are going to thoroughly discuss in our verbal and non-verbal communication that how you can avoid or how you can take care of your language first, that has something to do with your vocal, and how you can take care of your non-verbal communication, that is something related to your body language. Then second thing that you are supposed to keep in mind is your eye contact, gestures and your postures. Now your eye contact is very important. Now if you are facing towards your slides and your back towards your audience will not be able to get the basic idea that what exactly you are telling them and what you are talking about. Do not turn your back towards the audience. That's the thumb rule that you are going to keep in mind while you are delivering your presentation. Now your gestures, your eye contact, your hair, your hand movements, your posture, the way you are standing, the way you look, you should look energetic and you should look enthusiastic about your subject. Only in this way you can involve your audience into your presentation. We are going to discuss all of these things in detail in the upcoming lectures also. Then the third thing that you are supposed to remember is the use of space. Can everyone see you? Now you should make sure that you are sitting on such a place from where people can see you, and they can look at you, and you can look at them also. Your movement should be in that way that people can see you. Now if you are standing behind the rostrum with your laptop on the rostrum, maybe if you are not well heighted, you can can be hidden at the back of the rostrum. Only the voice will be coming in, there would be no visuals to be seen. So you are going to make sure that in order to deliver the effective presentations, you are going to get yourself exposed to, and you are going to look eye to eye, and you are going to see that you can see everyone as well as everyone can see you. And then your movements should be the balanced ones. You are not going to move so much that people cannot look at you like you are moving from one corner to the other and from other corner to the one, still talking and making points, and then talking about your lecture and supporting your main topic with the evidences and the details. So this is how you're supposed to make sure that your movement should be the balanced enough so that audience, they can concentrate on what you are saying. If you are moving so much and you are talking so much, people will be unable to get your message, that what exactly you are trying to deliver in front of them. Now there are some common problems in the presentations on which we are going to work while you learn how to deliver one good presentation. The verbal fillers like oh, like, so on. So these kind of words are should be avoided while you are giving the business presentations or you are giving the professional presentations. Any unrelated word or phrase should be avoided, because the collection of the wrong words in your, or the deliverance of the wrong words in your presentations can digress or can deviate the attention of your audience. Swaying, rocking and pacing. Now these three things should be avoided while delivering the presentation, because the attention of your audience will get lost if you are going to do so. If you have your hands in the pockets, try to take them out, because if you have your hands in the pocket, that gives an impression that maybe you are not interested in communicating with the audience, and you are only interested in communicating your point for yourself. Lip smacking, the way you smack your lip. Now look at my face. You make faces like this. So this is known as lip smacking, and you are not going to do that, because it gives an impression that you have forgotten your next idea and you are trying to think of that. So you are since you have gone all prepared for your presentation, so you are not going to miss out anything that is going to give an impression to the audience that you were not prepared for your presentation. Failure to be audience centered, in other words, it means that you are unable to grab the attention of the audience towards your topic, because you first of all, you did not announce your topic fully or completely, or you did not deliver your presentation in such a way that people are going to get involved in it. So your presentation sometimes that's a major problem, that you lose the attention of, or you lose the that focus of audience attentions, because you were not that much motivated or you were not that much enthusiastic, and there could be many more reasons for why you have failed to deliver one good presentation. Now moving on to the next slide, let's discuss 5 presentation tips that you can use to make your presentation look interesting, and you can also make your presentation effective. Now if you see point number 1, smile. Now let me make that for you. It means, in other words, that you are going to smile. Now that doesn't mean that you are going to smile like this. It means that, in other words, it means that you are going to present a very smiling face in front of the audience, so that they can they are moved by people like those people who are good looking or who are fresh in their looks, and the ones who look good to them. Now you would look good if you have very dull and boring face, and if you look aggressive and if you look proud, and you know, people will not listen to you carefully. So try to smile a little bit. That is going to relax you, as well as this is going to grab the attention of the audience towards your presentation also. So the first thing that you are supposed to keep in mind is to smile for the audience so that they can get involved in your presentation. The second point that you are supposed to keep in mind is to breathe. Take a deep breath before you actually begin or before you actually start your presentation. This is one great tip that is going to help you gather all the information or refreshen your memory and refreshen yourself so that you can deliver, or you can talk about each and everything in detail without making any pause or without making any mistake. Water. Now another thing is water. If you are so much confused and nervous, other than taking a deep breath, also drink water. Now drink some water and try to breathe so that you can relax a little bit before you actually start your presentation. Notes. Now these notes are real important. You keep these paper pastings in your hand, and you have written notes on them in detail, because your presentation is not something that will carry the longer texts. That is only going to carry the shorter texts, and that is going to carry the bullets in it. So you are going to keep the notes. If you are going to forget that what this bullet meant, you can consult back to your notes that are written in this small paper size, small slip size paper tags, where you can, you know, peel one off, and then, you know, you can move on to the next one as you keep moving on from your slide number 1 to slide number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. So this is how you keep notes, as to keep the track of if you are not going to, if you forget about any information, or if you forget about any concept, you can refer back to those notes, and then you can deliver your presentation in front of your audience in a very nice way. Then the next thing that you are supposed to keep in mind is that finish on or under time. So this is another thing that you are supposed to take care of while you are trying to deliver, and while you are trying to, you know, create and then deliver a very effective presentation for your audiences, because time spam is something that is to be kept in mind. It doesn't look good if the person is or the coordinator or the teacher is telling that your time is up. So you are going to make sure that all your slides, you are going to focus on only the important points that need the focus and the attention of the audience. So you will format and you will create your presentation accordingly, and then you are going to see that in how much time you are supposed to give to one slide, and so on and so forth. So try to elaborate on those ideas which are important, and if there are any examples or evidences to be shared, try to state them in your verbal communication as to, you know, grab the attention, as well as because the audience, they also get tired of looking at the slides and learning from them, and then the presentation also can become boring for them. So you are going to make sure that besides you deliver the information from the slides, you also keep on looking at the audience and putting in some examples from your life, or maybe some short stories, or maybe some humor you can bring in to make sure that audience are involved in your presentation. So I've given you 5 presentation tips, and I hope that while smiling, breathing, water, notes, and finish on or under time are going to help you make or deliver one good presentation in front of the audience. We are going to discuss each of the point in detail while we are going to, as we will move on to our next lectures. I'm going to tell you today, I'm telling you how you can actually, or how what are the things that revolve around creating one good presentation. Now creating effective visual aids, that is our part number 5, that why do we need visuals, what for, that what are the purposes of needing these visuals. Now why do you need these visuals? because the things that I listen, I forget. There is a famous proverb that the things that I listen, I forget. The thing I see, I remember. So you are supposed to make sure that you provide visuals to your audience to see, so that they can link that information in their mind that you are trying to tell them on the slides. Now, there are some visual aids that can be used for delivering the presentation. The first thing that you are supposed to keep in mind is that visual aids, they help your audience enhance their understanding. Now that they are listening to you and you are trying to elaborate to them that my product or my the so and so concept resembles so and so thing. So try to make sure that you bring in that thing in the form of a picture on your slide, so that they can get to know, or they have the understanding of what exactly you are talking about. Because as I have said, the things that I see, I remember them more with greater understanding. So you are going to, these visual aids will help you enhance the understanding of your audience. They add variety. Now if you add these pictures in your presentation, this is going to help you convey your message from the varieties of weight. So it also adds variety, because along with the boring text and bullets and words and these figures that are there on the slides, you have some interesting pictures to be displayed. They support your claims, whatever claims you are making, they can also help you support your claims, and they have the lasting impact on the audience, and they can get involved with what exactly you want to say, and you don't have to restate, and you don't have to refer back to the main point again and again, because the thing has been already communicated to your audience, and they know how does that look like. Now there are some examples of the visual aids. The first one is the PowerPoint slides, which is the most common one that is being used by everyone while you want to deliver your presentation. If the multimedia is not available, sometimes overhead projector can be of good choice. Sometimes graphs and charts, sometimes if you don't have multimedia and even you don't have overhead projector in some schools and colleges, what you can do is you can also make help of charts and graphs. Sometimes you can also bring in pictures, maybe in the form of hard copy, to be circulated in the audience, so that they can have an impression of what you are trying to tell them. Sometimes films and videos can be displayed, the related films and related videos can be displayed in front of audience, so they can also be the part of your presentation. Sometimes flip charts, how you can if the topic of your presentation is somewhat technical, that needs elaboration, or if you are delivering your maths presentation, you can make use of these flip charts, so that you can discard the previous ones and you can keep moving on to the next ones. Sometimes you can make use of the sketches that are already being produced, and you can put them in your presentation. So these are some visual aids examples that can be used for making one good presentation. Now your visual aids should supplement the presentation. That is kind of a supplement for your presentation, because it is kind of enhancing your audience's understanding. Outline of the main points. So your main points should be merged in your visual aids. Serve audience's needs, not speakers. So your visual aids, whatsoever you are going to insert in your presentations, are going to serve for the attention of your reader, for your audience, not for yourself. You are not going to insert these visual aids for your ease. You are going to insert these visual aids for the ease of your audience, so that while they look at the graphics, while they look at the picture, while they look at the photograph, they get to know that what exactly you want to mention and what exactly you want to talk about. They are sometimes simple and clear, and your visual aids should be simple as they can be, and they should be as clear, so that as to convey your very thought that you want to convey to your audience. Now coming to the last stage of our today's lecture, that is the 3-stage process. Now your presentation making is a 3-stage process, as every productive skill, like we have been talking about the writing skill, that's a process of pre-writing, writing and rewriting. In the same way, your presentation or making of your presentation is a 3-stage process. Now let's see what are the steps which are there in the creation of or in the preparation of your presentation. The first step is the creation, the second step is preparation, and the third step is presentation. Now let's see that how we are supposed to focus on each one of them while we actually want to deliver one good presentation. Now starting with your stage number 1, that is creation, tend to be overlooked to many by many, but is crucial. Sometimes your creation is being overlooked by the majority of people, and the mistake that most of people make is to they do not follow step number 1. Now this step number 1 focuses on selecting a topic. First of all, you select a solid topic that you want to deliver in front of the audience, setting clear objectives and specific goals, then concluding the research, audiences analysis, and then creating an outline. These are a few things that you are supposed to keep in mind while you create your presentation. Once you have selected your topic, you set out your clear objectives and your goals. If you need to gather information, you can conduct some kind of a research. Maybe you can surf on internet related to the topic, maybe you can go to the library, maybe in your creation stage you can do the analysis of the audiences. If they are going to be your class fellows, you must see that what kind of audiences they would be. If you are going to any other company, if you are going to any other organization, if they are going to be all the professors and supervisors, if you are doing your MS, then of course what panel would be sitting. So according to the audience, you are going to plan your presentations outline. So this is how you do your stage number 1, that is creation. Other steps that you are supposed to keep in mind while creation is using Microsoft Office PowerPoint. PowerPoint is the best tool that can be used for delivering good and effective presentations. Inserting contents. Now remember that you are going to insert the contents in your agenda using appropriate media. Now whatever media or whatever media approach you want to use, that should be the appropriate one. Prepare additional material, because as to if you lack the preparation for your presentation, you are going to go in loss. So you are going to prepare or gather the additional material which you feel if you are not going to cope up with your presentation well in time, you are going to have that material with you as you can proceed further. Confirmation process, you can also this stage confirms that you are ready for your presentation preparation. Now once that you have gathered all the material and you have made your PowerPoint slides, the next step you are supposed to take is that of preparation. You should rehearse thoroughly, because you know that what exact in which exact time duration you are supposed to finish your presentation. So you are supposed to rehearse. There is one element in your Windows 2010 where you have this option of count down time or counting down the time for your presentation. So as you keep on moving from one slide to the next, it keeps on counting that how much time you have given to one slide, and it in the end tells you that how much time you have used for your presentation. Now you prepare for your presentation because you sleep before your presentation well, and now the night before your presentation was to held on the day, you had an adequate sleep and you had a good sleep, because if you are sleepy during the presentation, and if you are not very energetic, and if you are not fresh, you cannot deliver a good presentation. Dress for the occasion. Keep in mind that whatsoever dress you are wearing is appropriate for the occasion, that is the presentation. So make sure that if you are a boy, you should wear 3-piece, and if you are a girl, you must look good and and presentable in front of the audience. Then another thing that you are supposed to keep in mind is to arrive early. You must arrive early to your particular venue where you are supposed to deliver the presentation, because if you come rushing and if you are in a hurry and you come and आपका सांस फूला होगा and you won't be able to deliver a very good presentation, because you were so much panicked with already that you are late, and again when you saw a lot of people waiting for you, there was a lot of pressure on you. Step number 3, presenting effectively. Now that we are in a stage of presenting or presentation, at the beginning of the presentation, introduce self, title, background if necessary. So first of all, you will begin with that I am Anila Nashin and I am going to present on so and so topic. So this is how you present yourself as well as title, and you provide them with the background that why do you want to present on this particular topic. Setting the theme and involve the audience. Then you set down the plot for your audience. Either you involve their participation or you ask them any question. Explain ground rules. Now these ground rules are really very important while you are delivering your presentations, because in the beginning you tell them that what they are supposed to do. If you don't want them to question you during the presentation, then tell them in the beginning that please keep your questions for the end. And the best rule for this is, as you can see on the slide, I have written down in slide numbers as well. The best rule is that you can tell them to keep the record of these slide numbers, so that they by the end of the presentation you can refer back to the slide and then answer their query. Specify agenda and outline. While you actually begin your presentation, try to specify agenda and outline. Use the PowerPoint slides as a guide. Now do not read from the slides. You are supposed to use these slides as a guide for them. Involve the audience, involve their participation, involve their attention, so that they are going to receive every single information that you are telling them. Involve the audience. Start presentations on time. Now if you are supposed to start at 9 a.m. sharp, you should start at 9 a.m. sharp. Don't wait for people coming and going, because that is going to waste your time and you won't be able to end on time yourself. Have confidence. That is your topic and you are enthusiastic about it, so feel confident. Eye contact, and you should look at the audience, and you should look at the attention of the audience. Your body movements and your gestures should be controlled. I will tell you in the next upcoming lectures that how you can do that. Your voice there should be effective pitch of your voice. That one we are also going to discuss in our non-paraverbal communication during presentations. Your poise, the standing or the sitting, whatsoever you choose, you are supposed to make it very, very formal for the people. Then handling questions, how you can handle questions during the presentations, and then how you can keep on giving them the reminders of the ground rules that you have selected for delivering your presentation. So that was all. Today we have discussed thoroughly the 3-stage process of presentation. You are supposed to be clear about the purpose of your presentation. You are supposed to rehearse well, maintain eye contact and be comfortable, follow the PowerPoint certain tips and tricks, provide appropriate amount of information in the time allocated, and answer the questions confidently at the end of presentation. Now we will discuss each and every point in detail as to make sure that you get and you deliver the best presentations out of all. Now you can become one good presenter if you want to, because presentation is not something that is innate or you were born a presenter. You are in the process of learning how to present in front of your audience, and if you stick to all the guidelines that I teach you and I tell you for appearing for the presentation, I am sure that you are going to become a very good presenter. With that, I wish you a very good luck for today, and I'll see you in the next class. Till then, take very good care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.